Hey there, Rub-a-Dub subs, it's Blackmetal Werewolf making a brand new video for this week. And this week's video is going to be about jobs. I know jobs are not easy to come by these days, especially full-time jobs. A lot of places are only hiring part-time and have completely eliminated full-time. In the past, I've never really talked about my job. I've talked that I have one, and that it kind of sucks sometimes, but I've never given any specifics. Before, it was out of respect. I didn't feel it was very respectful to the company to be talking about them on the internet. Now I can't talk about it. They sent head office sent a memo out saying that they don't want anybody talking about the workplace on any sort of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google+. They didn't want anyone identifying with it, defending them, bad-mouthing them, anything. So I'm not going to say where I work. I'll talk about kind of about it, you know. So a lot of times I get messages, people asking me saying, what's a good job for a metalhead? I've been looking for a job for a while, but I can't find a job that fits a metalhead. How did someone like that looks and dressed like you get a job? So as for what's a good job for a metalhead? To me, a good job for a metalhead is any job that will hire you. Any job for anybody is a job that will hire you. Don't get me wrong, there are some jobs that a metalhead would probably succeed at, like a metal magazine or a metal website or a record company or a record store. Those would be relatively good jobs for a metalhead. But if you're not lucky enough to get a job like that, I suggest any job that will hire you. When I was out looking for a job, I wasn't like, oh, well, that place doesn't really fit a metalhead. It was more like, hey, that job is willing to hire me. I'll take it. That was my attitude. I didn't be like, well, this job has to cater to me as a metalhead. It's like, does this job give me a paycheck? Will it give me hours? That's a job for me. When I got out of high school, I immediately went looking for a job, and it wasn't easy. I went to a lot of places. A lot of places weren't hiring or never gave me a call back. It eventually got to the point where I literally picked up the phone and called the place and said, look, I'm desperate. I need a job. Is there any way you can at least give me an interview? And they said, yeah, sure. We like your attitude. Come on in. That was great gumption. So I went, after I heard that they were going to give me an interview, I hung up the phone and I immediately went out and got a haircut. I know a lot of people don't like that. I shouldn't be judged based solely on my appearance. You're right, you shouldn't. But you will. People will judge you based solely on your appearance, like me. A lot of times when I go out, I get a lot of looks from old ladies, guys, will look at me like, man shouldn't have long hair like that. So yeah, you will get judged solely on your appearance a lot of the times in life. It sucks, and a lot of people's principle is you shouldn't do that, but your principles really only matter to you. There's no law saying that someone can't look at you and be like, and think in their head, I'm not hiring this person, right as soon as they see you. If they were to say, we're not hiring you because they have long hair, then you might have a case. But unless you can really prove that, you got nothing, So yeah, the first thing I did was get a haircut and shave my goatee. My hair at the time wasn't nearly as long as it is now. It was like to here. But I knew that there was a possibility that it could stand in my way. So I didn't want to take that chance. I didn't want to be one of those people, oh, well, it's the principle. I didn't give a shit. Principles do not pay the rent. Principles do not put food on your plate. Your principles mean nothing to anybody except you. And principles won't get you a paycheck. So swallow your pride, get over yourself, and if you need a job, fucking just do it. If your hair is bright green and you think it's getting in your way, then dye it brown or black or to a normal color. I know a lot of people don't like hearing that, but that is the way she goes sometimes. People do not have to accept you based on the way you look. It sucks, but it's the way it is. So that's the first thing I did. I got a haircut, shaved my goatee. I went in for the interview. Thankfully, I got the job. And then I realized that these are the type of people who actually don't care if if a guy has long hair. So I immediately started growing my hair back out. They just didn't want my goatee to be too long, so I trimmed it every now and then. But I moved, I got transferred to a different location, and they didn't care how long my goatee was, so I started growing it back out again. So that was pretty great that they didn't care about that. But I know a lot of people are like, how does someone like you, looks like you, keep a job? Once again, like I said, a lot of people don't care. My job does have a pretty strict dress code that I do follow. And honestly, yeah, I don't look like this when I go to work. I don't wear a sleeveless band t-shirt. I don't wear my arm bracers. My hair is tied back. So I do look considerably different when I go to work. This is how I look when I go to work. My hair's tied back, plain t-shirts, Simple stuff. I'm just wearing regular jeans. Nothing special to it. There are some things I use to flare up my style a little bit. I do wear my Mjolnir necklace to work, and I have a very cheap bullet belt, and I have a Judas Priest belt buckle. So, yeah. As you can see there, I do accessorize a little bit at work. Nothing too extreme. It's just, things I personalize my style with. I saw other people there wearing like cross necklaces, stuff like that. So I never thought it was a big deal about wearing this to work. No one's ever given me a hard time about it. So I certainly can't complain about that. In the past, I have talked about how I have worn my battle vest to work. So during the spring and the summer, during the spring and the fall, when it gets pretty chilly out, what I do is I put a hooded sweatshirt on, and I put my battle vest over that. It keeps me warm, and it's fashionable. So I wear that to work when it's pretty chilly out. I hang it in the break room. No one's ever given me any grief about it. But once, I spend the majority of my day in like a -20, -25 freezer. So, and the company provides me with a jacket that I can wear in there while I'm doing my job. But once all the jackets were out being cleaned, and I'm the only one who goes into, I'm one of the only people that goes into the freezer, and I spend quite a bit of time in there. So I'm like, look, I can't stay in there with a fucking t-shirt on. I need to wear something in the freezer. So I said, I'm just going to wear my personal jacket. Are you guys all right with that? And management didn't have an issue with it. I wasn't around customers. I wasn't around other co-workers. So they didn't have an issue with it. Actually, a lot of people like my battle jacket. I've never suffered any form of discrimination wearing it to work. I've never had anyone give me a hard time about it, or a manager tell me I can't wear that to work. I've actually had managers come over and ask me about it. Well, where'd you get that one? What's this? And but that's just my job. I know there are some people that would not allow anything like that on workplace premises. So unless you really feel comfortable that you can wear it as like a battle jacket or something like that, I would kind of steer clear of it. But once again, I'm very fortunate with my job. The place doesn't really care. So that's really what I have to talk about. A lot of people just asking about my job. How did I get it? Are there any specific things I did? But, when it comes to like interviews and stuff like that, it's just basic stuff that you should have learned in high school. Get clean, get a haircut, wash yourself, wear nice clothes, have answers prepared, run through, go through mock interview, get someone to sit down with you and do a mock interview, make eye contact. It's all these things. To me, it's not about I need a job that suits a metalhead. It's I need a job that's going to pay my bills and that's going to respect me and it's going to accept me. Well, maybe not even the accept part, because I'm there to do a job. I'm not there to make friends. I'm not there to give everybody a lesson in heavy metal. I'm there to do my job. I'm there to get a paycheck. I can do all my fun heavy metal stuff at home, and that's what I do. I don't wear this to work. I do it at home and on the internet. This is stuff that it should be basic stuff, The last thing I can really say is don't hold your principles too tightly. Unless it's something serious, you're being sexually harassed at work or any form of harassment at work, and someone says, oh, you shouldn't report it. Yeah, you fucking should. That's a principle you should uphold. The color of your hair or the length of your hair shouldn't be a principle, especially if you're desperate for a job. If one day, management comes you're a man and your hair is touching your ears, go get it cut. It's never been an issue before. Why is it an issue now? I can wear a hairnet if I have to. If that's that big of a deal, I'll wear a fucking hairnet. But yeah, I don't sometimes I think some people's principles are a little too sensitive. To me, it's not that big of a deal. If my job said that I had to keep short hair, if when they hired me, they said, we don't allow men with short hair, then those would be the rules I would have to follow. I might start looking for a new job that would accept someone with long hair. But if that's the best I could do, that's the best I could do. That's just the way she goes sometimes, boys. That's the best advice I can give you guys when it comes to finding a job. So, like my past videos, I do either an album recommendation or an album warning, and I have another recommendation for you guys. It is, I believe it's pronounced Sylosis, and the album is Dormant Heart. It's a metal band from jolly old England. I picked this album up last week, and I've been listened to it a couple times since then, and I really enjoyed it. I've never heard of this band before, so I'm glad I picked it up. Really heavy stuff, sounds really good, really crisp, really clean. This one has this album that I picked up had 2 bonus tracks on it, and one of them is a Smashing Pumpkins cover. So if you like Smashing Pumpkins, it might be fun to check this heavy metal song out. They're doing a cover of Zero. But overall, really solid album. I enjoyed it, and I think you guys will too, so definitely check it out. On my last video, a lot of people asked, why wasn't there an album recommendation? It's because on my conspiracy videos, it doesn't really feel to flow naturally with the feel of the video. So that's why I don't do it. It just didn't feel right to go with it, and I probably won't do album recommendations or warnings on my made-up conspiracies. It just didn't feel right, you know? I just felt better doing it without it. So that's the way it is. So that's it for today's video. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out my past videos as well. Of course, don't forget to leave me a comment in the comment section letting me know what your opinions are on today's video. If you want to keep up with me on a more daily basis, you can follow me on Instagram, and I'll be putting that in the description section as I always do. Once again, guys, thank you very much for watching, and stay brutal.